One Zambia, one nation. Welcome to the news. To present, my name is Henry Himonde. A look at the top stories in our news. Government encourages stakeholders to take part in second summit for democracy. Works on Kafulafuta Dam project advance. Rural health clinic under construction in Kapirimposhi district. And in environmental news, government encourages tree planting to alleviate climate change effects. Zanis news in detail. Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe has urged Zambians to take part in the second summit for democracy, which opens tomorrow, March 29th, and runs through to March 30th, 2023. Mr. Haimbe says the general citizenry should focus on the agenda set for the summit, which is free, fair, and transparent elections in Africa, as it aims to enhance democracy on the African continent and beyond. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka today, the minister emphasized that the event will be centered on participation of women, youths, and persons with disabilities in the electoral process, freedom of expression, and the role of the media and civil society in promoting transparent and credible elections. He further added that other thematic areas include transparency in political party financing and independence and autonomy of the electoral management bodies. Mr. Haimbe said that any other area that is being speculated should therefore be treated as false.
The clear thematic areas that have been outlined for the work that will be undertaken at the summit, in particular on day 2 that I have highlighted during the in-person meetings, there is no other thematic area or discussion on legislative reform or any similar discussion outside of these thematic areas that will take place. And this is why I earlier underscored the importance of this and why the people of Zambia must follow with the keenest of interest. We'll all agree, for example, that matters of participation of women, youth, and persons with disabilities in electoral processes is a key area that has been discussed in this country for several years, or as the case may be. And so this summit provides an opportunity for the people of Zambia and the persons from these groups who may be affected by the current electoral processes that we follow in this country to share with others in the wider globe through the platform that we are providing during the summit. I think it is a very important opportunity for all of us to learn from the rest of the world how these groups can best participate in electoral processes.
And Youth Unite Zambia founder Welta Kasempa says there is need for government to put in place policies that encourage youth participation in governance. Speaking ahead of tomorrow's second summit for democracy, Mr. Kasempa said youths are a critical partner of development, hence the need to incorporate them in the democratic process. Mr. Kasempa said the summit has provided an opportunity for governments to listen to the voices of young people on what should be done for them to be included in governance matters. Meanwhile, Be Relevant Africa Executive Director Mwila Wanga says the summit has come at a time when young people are showing a lot of interest in politics. Mr. Wanga explained that Zambia co-hosting the summit represents opportunities for exposure for the youths to learn from other countries on how the young people are included in the governance process.
We as young people would like to see a continuous, implementation of more young people in different processes. What does that mean? It means including young people in the entire democracy process, in the design, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of all democratic processes, which means more inclusion of young people in the electoral processes, like within the institutions that are there, like political parties, civil society organizations, government institutions, and also the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
By Zambia hosting the Summit for Democracy Summit, that in itself, presents so many opportunities to many young people. It presents an opportunity for young people to add their voices as regards the kind of democracy they envision. It presents an opportunity to young people to add their voices as regards the kind of political framework they want to see. However,
in Southern Province, Public Accounts Committee Chairperson Warren Mwambazi says there is need for regular capacity building among procurement professionals in order to enhance efficiency in the country's procurement system. Mr. Mwambazi says failure to follow existing procurement procedures has a negative effect on the effective delivery of services. More in the following report.
In the recent past, some controlling officers, along with public procurement officers, have had to appear before the Public Accounts Committee (PAC) for mismanaging the procurement supply chain. In an effort to build a cadre of professionals that abide to required procurement procedures, the Alliance Procurement and Capacity Building Limited has organized a capacity building training for procurement practitioners from various institutions. This move has elated the Public Accounts Committee.
These are very good interventions. It's important that procurement practitioners from time to time through the procurement initiative and capacity building initiative that they meet and are reminded on some of these requirements of the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2020, the Public Finance Act number 1 of 2018, to ensure that we remind each other that which is required of us as we carry out our mandate as officers conferred with duties to ensure that we procure and we implement government projects in accordance with the stipulated laws and guidelines.
Such engagement are key to achieving an effective procurement system.
Public procurement is about accountability. We were arming them with the tools of how to engage and disengage activities in the relationship of efficiency and avoiding corruption and make sure that they are doing the correct thing.
Our core values basically is to ensure that there is capacity building in the public sector as well as the private sector, so that the officers are able to carry out procurement activities within the various pieces of legislation that the government has given us. And this knowledge is required in order to reduce the audit queries.
Costa Kimdenda, Zanis, in Livingstone, Southern Province.
Also in the news, construction works of the Kafulafuta Dam project in Masaiti district on the Copperbelt province have advanced. China National Engineering Corporation business manager Bob Wang says his company is working hard to ensure that the project is handed over to Kafubu Water and Sanitation Company by December this year. Tovin Ngombe brought us this report.
Construction works of the $449 million Kafulafuta Dam water project on the Copper Belt is progressing well. The project, which was launched in 2018, is aimed at improving access to clean and safe drinking water to the 4 districts, which includes Ndola, Luanshya, Masaiti, and Mpongwe. Permanent Secretary for Special Duties at Cabinet Office visited the project site to appreciate the works being done.
So in this vein, I just want to appreciate the contractor and encourage them that it is always good to give a service that is appreciated in terms of cost, but also in terms of the quality. And therefore, I just want to encourage you to continue supervising the workers so that they continue to put up something that you yourselves planned to put up. Because you are the ones who know the kind of works or the kind of equipment that you need to put to come up with such a quality infrastructure.
China National Complete Engineering Corporation is ready to complete the project this year.
And so far we are planning to beat the target by finish the project by the end of 2023. So yes, after the January of next year, we are about to hand over the project to the client for the use.
Kafu Water and Sanitation Acting Managing Director is happy with the works done so far.
And I want also to take this opportunity to thank government for providing the needed finances to have this project resume. You know, this project is a game changer to the utility in terms of its financial standing. It will help us to expand our business, connect new customers. There are some areas where we had challenges with water supply. So through this project, we are going to extend the service so it will benefit the community and also benefit the institution.
The completion of the Kafrafuta water project is expected to add 1 million new people to the water system and help the country in its attainment of sustainable development goals on water and sanitation. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Masait District.
Heads of immigration departments of Zambia and Tanzania have held a bilateral relations meeting aimed at finding a sustainable solution to the growing crimes of human trafficking and smuggling of migrants. Director General for the Department of Immigration in Zambia, Japhet Lishomwa, says deliberations between the two countries will help to address the transnational disposition of migration-related crimes such as human trafficking and smuggling of migrants. Dr. Lishomwa says international cooperation between Zambia and Tanzania is the solution to resolving common challenges of imbalances in the treatment of the business community, especially truck drivers by immigration authorities in both countries. He was speaking in Lusaka today during the official opening of a 2-day meeting. And Commissioner General of Department of Immigration of Tanzania, Anna Makakala, noted that the meeting will discuss matters on the prevention and combating of illegal migration and the exchange of information and experiences between Zambia and Tanzania.
The recent establishment of the Joint Permanent Commission on Defense and Security has provided us with a platform to comprehensively and exclusively focus on matters of security which define our work. International cooperation is an indispensable instrument to modern migration management. This is because of the transnational complexion of migration-related crimes such as human trafficking and smuggling of immigrants. To resolve a migration challenge that involves a number of countries, there is no alternative to cooperation of the affected countries. This is the reason why international cooperation is emphasized in international migration frameworks such as the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration, the African Union Migration Policy Framework, and the Migration Dialogue for Southern Africa. To condense this principle into the context of this bilateral meeting, we can only effectively address our common challenges like human trafficking and smuggling of migrants when we join hands as Tanzania and Zambia, and indeed other AU member states within the circumference of the problem.
We convene here. It is our great expectation that our meeting today will discuss a range of matters pertaining to migration, such as prevention and combating of illegal migration, transnational organized crimes, exchange of information and experience, travel documents, and also other challenges that are affecting our borders of both countries. Distinguished delegates, we are glad that this meeting is composed of senior officers. Therefore, we expect that the matters of paramount importance will be determined for the betterment of our two countries during our deliberations.
In Northern Province, Sub-Chief Zombe of Mbala District has devised an initiative to sensitize youths on how they can access the Constituency Development Fund. This is as a result of youths lacking knowledge on how to benefit from the Empowerment Fund despite being eligible. Japhet Munkondya filed in this report.
The significant increase in the allocation of the Constituency Development Fund by the government has brought about a number of benefits to the nation. But some people are still having challenges in accessing these funds due to lack of knowledge on the application process. And Sub-Chief Zombe of the Mambwe-Lungu people in Mbala district has come up with an initiative to sensitize youths on how to access the CDF.
Ekyo nde mulomba imwe wonse amayufusi karibuni kwisano karibuni kunganda kumwandi nise muchite guide nga chilipo mukaye muna wa council mukaye muna kuli wa DC wakamupera abakalenga muchite apply urupyolo ulwa CDF tatwa kwete CDF myaka yonse yapite yawe CDF yali 1.6 million kwacha yali ino nomba bali 28 point chani huko lishuko.
Youths in the area have welcomed the move by the sub-chief. And Sub-Chief Zombe has called on government workers to work closely with traditional leaders for effective delivery of services.
Mwewa uteko na mpapa tasandi panshide mule wambane mfumu wakateka wena ma tradition and customary ben ine mfuku wambane uteko tulima stakeholders na government. We have a very hard-working president. We want him to develop Zambia.
Reporting for Zanis in Mbala, I'm Jafet Munkondia.
Zanis News continues. Government has embarked on the construction of a clinic in Kapisu Rural Community in Kapirimposhi District using the Constituency Development Fund CDF to ease access to health care in the area. Currently, the community walks over 20 kilometers to access health care services at Nkole Rural Health Center. Details in this report.
Long distances to access health services remains a significant burden for rural communities in Zambia. To improve access to health care for rural communities, government is constructing a clinic in Kapisu Rural Community in Kapirimposhi District. Over 6,000 people will have access to health care at this facility, being constructed using the Constituency Development Fund.
This is one of our flagship projects in Kapir, where we are showcasing the exact vision that the president has mentioned to us. First of all, it's like every health post across the country, even here in Kapir, must have a maternity wing. So this project is depicting that vision. The other part that we've emphasized on is that we are no longer doing VIP toilets. There's nothing VIP about a pit latrine. What we are doing now, right here in the villages, is flashable toilets. So this is one of our pilot projects to showcase that it can be done.
The health facility, coming with a staff house, is being constructed by a local contractor at the cost of 762,000 kwacha.
This project includes not only the structure behind, which is an OPD. There's also going to be a staff house. There's also going to be a bore that is going to be drilled, and also conveniences that are going to be attached to the same. So this structure, we're expecting it to be done within 3 months.
I'm so humbled to be awarded this contract as a local contractor and a youth. Yeah. Additionally, we've extended our employing the structure to the locals. So we've employed locals up to 20. Yeah, as well as other indirect people who are bringing like sand, water.
The community, currently walking up to 20 kilometers to access health services, is delighted by the development.
Kuti kliniki eyamana ingatwakoma nagapati kambo ingatwa hakugwahirikwa chibadera jabahwihi twarega kuzabugamira njo tuzabugami minji
problems tutufacingana nawe mbinatusenda na mayo lipabu kulango nipachikochi pakwatuye tufike pala distance itali charasangwa kuba chilimbi na mayo apapira panshira nimepala pena bleeding ya tampa.
Carlos Zanis, Kapirimposhi.
In Luapula Province, the local authority in Mwense District has procured and distributed desks to Sichama Primary School and Kashiwa Secondary School. Town Council Chairperson Stephen Chikota says the council plans to purchase over 1,400 desks for both Mwense and Mambirima constituencies using the 2022 Constituency Development Fund. Lewis Changwe now reports.
Enhancing access to quality, equitable and inclusive education is one of the strategic objectives enshrined in the 8th National Development Plan. In order to actualize this objective, the local authority in Mwense has started distributing desks procured using the 2022 Constituency Development Funds. Town Council Chairperson Stephen Chikota commissioned the distribution.
With the introduction of free education, there has been pressure to ensure that all children do not continue to sit on the floor. This is why the President of the Republic of Zambia pronounced that no child should continue to sit on the floor by the end of this year, 2023. As a response to this pronouncement, my council has embarked on a mammoth task to ensure that the required 7,500 desks in the districts are procured.
District Education Board Secretary Sabeta Mwansa witnessed the commissioning.
Vision of school desks, which has put a smile and hope on the community of both Kashiva and Sichama. This underscores the government's commitment to providing equitable and quality education to the Zambian school-going children.
Meanwhile, Chief Kashiva thanked government for the gesture.
Vingi filenga ukuti umwana akwati okupasa na nguku pona. Instead kala mwana tekele wino. So concentration ilya kumulandi wafyo teacher alefunda. Tetifyo wino atini? Aha. Echo nombambale akainda abalirapo free education. Nombero asalo na kishati nomba babana baisa ma classrooms. Tabako itanomba apa kwikala. Apa madeski nomba na yesa. Kilishani mwane ni makali. Ni makali ai. Ni oji.
Lewis Changwe, Zanis, Mwense.
Also in the news, government says there is need to accelerate the decentralization process of procuring food items for the school feeding program in order to reduce its expenditure and empower the local suppliers. Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary for Administration, Noriana Mneku, has visited the Copperbelt province to check on the program in schools. Agrippa Silumbwe now reports.
It has now become their daily routine to first attend their classes and later start enjoying their meals before they go back home. This justifies why school feeding program has been adopted as one of the most effective initiatives in reducing absenteeism among learners, especially in rural communities like here in Ufanama district.
Absenteeism has been too much, but with the coming up of your program, the feeding program, at least the attendance has now improved.
And Ministry of Education is closely monitoring the implementation of the program in the area and wants to ensure timely provision of these food items in schools.
We are advocating that food should be purchased within that is available in the community. What is the point of bringing food all the way from Lusaka? There's a cost component on it. I've seen some roads are not even good. By the time that food comes here, it's not even fresh. We need to make sure that it's plowed back and we buy to the community. What development is when we say decentralization. This is what we are talking about.
The Permanent Secretary is now encouraging the locals in the district to participate in the supply of these food items if they are to fully benefit from this initiative.
We are better off relying on our people, and we need to encourage the community to get together as teams in these villages and be able to grow crops that will help feed our children, because money will be readily available.
We can be buying from our local cooperatives. It will really improve on our income as the local communities.
School feeding program is aimed at encouraging learners to attend classes and further enhance the country's literacy levels. Reporting, I'm Agrippa Slumbwe, Copperbelt Province.
In Northwestern Province, government has warned contractors in Zambezi district against handing over poorly completed construction works. Zambezi District Commissioner Simeon Machai said handing over construction works of poor workmanship is wasting government resources. Mr. Machai stated that contractors should aim to do quality works which will stand the test of time. The district commissioner indicated that government will not hesitate to cancel contracts for any contractor who compromise quality by engaging in shoddy works. Meanwhile, Mr. Machai bemoaned lack of community involvement in government projects being done by some contractors despite the projects belonging and benefiting them. Mr. Machai said communities are the eyes of government and as such should report any suspicious activities being carried out by some contractors who are in the habit of stealing materials. And finally, in the news, Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Collins Nzovu, says his ministry will continue to support any tree planting exercise as it is part of government's agenda to conserve nature. Mr. Nzovu, who spoke in a speech read on his behalf, said the noble call for tree planting should be encouraged as it alleviates the effects of climate change that has been negatively affecting Zambia and the world at large. Munambonge gives us this report.
Changes in temperature causes changes in rainfall patterns. This results in more severe and frequent droughts, storms, flooding, and landslides, which in the process destroys homes and communities. As a result, both the citizens and the government experience financial constraints. One of the ways to mitigate climate change is planting trees for reforestation. Creso University is alive to this fact and therefore partnered with UBA Bank and Ministry of Green Economy and Environment to plant trees at Lusaka Central Correctional Facility.
The purpose of this occasion today is to intensify university students and the youths at large on the importance of planting trees and conserving trees. Creso University is today rising up to the occasion and to rise up to the call by our Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to plant 2 million trees. That's not a small figure, it's a big figure, it needs concerted efforts. Trees play a vital role in our livelihoods, and it is for this that we have a campaign for tree planting amongst the youths and also other communities, because this is very important.
Explaining the effects of climate change is Creso University Registrar Stephen Kakungu.
Planting trees helps to mitigate global warming. And so as a university, we are encouraging all our faculties, our departments, our students, and our stakeholders to participate in this important exercise.
And Lusaka Central Correctional Facility representative Wisdom Chewe thanked the university for the noble gesture.
As Zambia Correction Service, that is Lusaka Central, we are equal to the task of this we are part of the partnership that you have entrusted us. And we can assure you that we will not let you down. We'll take care of the trees that will be planted from its initial stage until they grow. We'll be coming here to water them.
Planting more trees will contribute to global reforestation, efforts aimed at restoring lost forests, repairing damaged ecosystem, and mitigating climate change. Reporting for Zanis in Lusaka, I'm Mona Chivende.
Well, Mona Chivende's report brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories in our news. Government encourages stakeholders to take part in the second summit for democracy. Works on Kafulafuta Dam project have advanced. Rural Health Center under construction in Kapiriposhi district. And in environmental news, government encourages tree planting to alleviate climate change effects. Thank you so much for watching the news. On behalf of the entire news production crew, I'm Henry Himonde. Remember to join us tomorrow again at the same time. For now, it's goodbye.